We all think of controlling our anger, isn't it? At times we try so much to control our anger, but sometimes it feels like no matter how hard we try, we just explode. But wait, have we ever wondered why? Have you ever noticed when we get sick, like a fever or vomiting, etc., we naturally try to understand what caused it, but do we do the same for our anger? Today's story is all about this. After listening to this story, we will understand what is needed to control our anger. In the previous video, we explored Buddha's reflections on the 7 consequences of anger. If you haven't seen the video, the link is provided above. Do watch it. Today's story further complements those teachings, offering insights into the roots of our anger and how we can navigate it. So stay tuned and let's dive into the story. Once upon a time, a monk used to live in monastery with other monks. One day, he decided to meditate alone, away from his monastery. There was a lake nearby where not many people would visit. He decided to go to that lake to meditate. When he reached lake, there was no one else. He took a boat out to the middle of lake. When reached in middle, secured it there. There he sat with his eyes closed and began to meditate. After a few hours of undisturbed silence, he suddenly felt a bump of another boat colliding with his boat. Monk got disturbed, but still he kept his eyes closed. Again, he felt bump. With his eyes closed, he sensed his anger rising, but still he kept his eyes closed and stayed silent. After a while, again he felt bump, and by this time, he was ready to scream at the boatman who dared to disturb his meditation. When he couldn't control anymore, he opened his eyes and looked toward another boat to scream, but to his surprise, when he opened his eyes, he saw that it was an empty boat that had probably got untethered and floated to the middle of lake. As soon as Monk saw this, at that moment he achieved self-realization and understood that anger was within him and it merely needed the bump of an external object to provoke it out of him. From then on, whenever Monk would come across someone who irritates him or try to provoke him to anger, he would remind himself, "Other person is merely an empty boat. The anger is within me." So you see, the story of the monk and the empty boat is a powerful allegory about the nature of our anger. It tells us that while external events can trigger it, the ultimate responsibility for managing our anger lies within us. When we become aware of our rising anger, like the monk noticing the bumps, we can choose how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. In the story, the monk chose not to yell at the empty boat. This represents the power of non-reaction. The story serves as a valuable reminder that we all have the power to manage our anger and cultivate inner peace. By not fueling the fire of anger with angry words or actions, we allow it to dissipate naturally. But wait, the journey doesn't end here. In our next video on anger management, we'll learn unique techniques to control anger. As we wrap up this video, let this powerful message resonate with you and stay tuned for more insights. Before you go, show some love, hit that like button, share the wisdom with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to Motivational Muse for your regular dose of inspiration. Together, let's create a ripple of positive change.